Tell me what you hold it. Said it, I'm golden. Told you I'm shining. Had to break through. Plan perfect timing. Giving no hands. Nigga, go get it. Radix the ruler. Can't fuck with them peasants. Want to win pleasant. Envy the essence. Fuck about you. More about me. I come from the land. Land that forgotten. That league of the shadows. My city like Gotham. But now I'm the man. You gon' hear this often. Stacking these gems. The boy ain't no option. All black like he gothic. But yet he still blossom. Desire to conquer. Ain't nothing gon' stop him. Damn, I'm so awesome. Now they all flocking. But they ain't care. My close homie died. Fell suicide. And my dad's crack pipe was rocking. They see mama often. But fuck it, I'm off it. Created that funk. Almost went diabolic. Then broke down myself. I was brutally honest. Then studied the hidden rebirth to a prophet. I want my worth. For you see mayhem. You screaming mayday. Fuck what they say, hey. I want my payday. Me off and Team Rocket. Now who would have thought that it used to be lit? Now the gems in my pocket. I used to be stressing. Now racking up blessings. Kept manifesting. They stopped
self-investing. What's going on, y'all? Let me do a quick sound check over here on YouTube. Wait, can y'all see me? I don't think so. I look completely frozen on this. Let me see. Huh. I sound good, but now you can't see me. Well, isn't that fantastic? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over from my webcam, and now y'all should be able to see me. But what's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's going on? Literally nothing. I don't know why the hell I'm asking that question. We got my boy Typhoon Warning, who says, "Ant side hustle from the basement. This is where the magic happens." Yes, but keep it on the down low, because if Royal finds out that I am live streaming from his basement, he will kill me. So keep this on the down low. What's good? What do we got here? We got Freddie says, another season where Pat Riley signs his own scrubs and can't deliver a star free agent. Freddie, sir, Pat Riley just signed a future Hall of Famer. Put some respect. No, I'm just kidding. What the hell are we doing here today? Perfect. Sounds good. Sounds good, Typhoon. Yo, Wade County, what's going on? Let me try real quick to switch back to my good camera and see it. No. Why? I want to live stream more. I'm always having so much trouble trying to connect. All right. I don't plan on this being too long a stream just because there's not anything too much to happen with the Heat today, but there was some interesting moves around the NBA, so I just kind of wanted to come here and share all my thoughts with that. The first thing, as Levi, don't scare me, chat. As Levi Shaw says, breaking news: Sexy Red signs for 5 years, $100 million. I will say this though, I don't like Sexy Red at all, mostly just because she makes me uncomfortable. Oh, I'm still looking up here at my good camera. I got to look down here at my webcam today. We'll shut off the good camera. We'll try to figure that out another day. But I don't know if y'all saw this video that he put out. Like, it was this season, and it was Sexy Red at a game, and they're like just doing a quick TikTok interview. I'm still looking at my real camera. I'm looking down here today. I keep forgetting. And they asked Sexy Red about like her favorite Heat game or Heat player, and she was like, "Get it, Sexy." And then they asked her like her favorite thing about basketball, and she was like, "You heard?" Like, she didn't answer the questions at all. Y'all know the TikTok I'm talking about. It was very awkward and uncomfortable, and she very clearly knew nothing about basketball. John said, yeah, make sure y'all leave your comments or your questions down below. We'll try to get to everyone's here. What do you think the Heat will get with in free agency? Well, in free agency, probably technically no one, just because they don't have cap space. They are able to re-sign Haywood Highsmith just because of the bird rights and all the stuff like that. But I don't think they sign anyone outright. Pretty much any moves they make for free agents would have to be via sign and trade. But I mean, are you talking a whale or are you talking rotation pieces? Because we all know the whales that's still available. Obviously, I wouldn't count Paul George no more. One, because he's a playoff choking bum. And two, because he's going to the 76ers. But the other names are obviously Trey Young, who I love. Guys like Ingram and Levine, who I'm a little more iffy on. Who knows about Lauri Markkanen, but obviously Donovan Mitchell. Though all those guys are probably maybe not unrealistic, all of them, because I do think there's potential that the Hawks blow it up and want to move on from Trey Young. But obviously, I can't sit here and say it's realistic that they get him. So now you're talking about maybe getting some more ancillary pieces. The name that I always come back to is Dorian Finney-Smith, just because the Nets are probably going to continue to blow it up and they have some more nice pieces. I think you can get a pretty good package of Dennis Schroeder and Dorian Finney-Smith. Maybe you send over Tyler Hero. Maybe they value his young self to rebuild with their roster. I don't know. As a Heat fan, it sounds kind of ridiculous saying we try to trade Tyler Hero for Dame and Donovan and KD, and we end up trading him for Dorian Finney-Smith and Dennis Schroeder. But at this point, I just don't know if anybody wants Tyler Hero. And truthfully, as a Heat fan, I don't think Tyler Hero fits well. I personally would rather get some other pieces that fit better. And I think there is a spot for Dorian Finney-Smith and Dennis Schroeder on this team. When you look at Finney-Smith, switchy defender, perfect exposed system. You're talking about a guy that could help replenish what you're losing with Caleb Martin and maybe Hayward Highsmith now. We heard that he just got another sub. I appreciate y'all. Let's go. We 5 away from today's sub goal. So make sure y'all hit that button if you're in here now. But a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith, I was saying switchy defender, you might be losing the perimeter defense of Hayward Highsmith and Caleb Martin. I do think Finney-Smith is a guy that could get on that perimeter. I really wanted him a couple years ago because he was shooting like 40%. I thought he could start at the starting 4 for us. But I kind of like Jovic, as the starting power forward going forward. But you could still have Finney-Smith as a guy to come off the bench and be a prototypical 3-and-D guy. And Dennis Schroeder had a really good season last year, and I think that he could use some more guard depth off the bench. And he's a guy that's a dog on defense too. So he's a bit of a two-way player himself. We just got another sub. Let's go! Appreciate y'all. But yeah, I would look at the Brooklyn Nets as a potential destination to maybe get some of their pieces because we know that they're going to try to sell off. We just lost a sub. Oh man, it's okay. We're just out here to have fun. What else we got here? Any questions we got here? Drit says we signed K Love for $4 million. Yeah, I said on the last podcast that's kind of what I expected. I expected him to opt out of the final year of his contract and then kind of re-up at the same rates just for an extra year. It was interesting how K-Love didn't get a player option on the second year because now he's definitely here for 2 years. And you never know. Maybe in 2 years you need that extra $4 million to get someone. But it's hard to say. I know some Heat fans were saying they would have rather got a younger player with that money because their minimum value was certainly a lot cheaper than a guy like Kevin Love. But you're talking a few $1 million difference here. It's nothing, right? $1 million is nothing. In the grand scheme of things in the NBA, it kind of is nothing. But what's up, my boy Royal here? Not the Royal that has me locked in his basement. This is the cool Royal. But he says Derrick Jones Jr. likely not signing with the Cavs. I saw that because they just signed Najee Marshall. And if y'all don't remember Najee Marshall, he's the guy that Jimmy Butler almost got into it last year. They kind of did get into it. So we don't rock with Najee Marshall on this channel. He's a decent player. I'm not gonna lie to you, but we don't rock with him on this channel. And Derrick Jones Jr. is a guy we love. I'd love to get him back here too. Even seems like since he's improved since he's left here. That's not something you see a lot of the times. Usually when guys leave the Heat, they're not as good. He's a guy that has continued to get better, and you'll have to see it because we love Derrick Jones. But he's gonna get a decent bag somewhere, so he can't be here. What else we got here? Typhoon Warren says, black women make you uncomfortable. No, sir. Call me Phil Dunphy because I love myself some black women. Ain't nothing uncomfortable about that. Truthfully, I don't even know why you left that comment. But black women are very beautiful, my guy. Wade County said, can't believe there's a Highsmith sweepstakes. Oh, that's funny. Think about where we were a couple years ago, man, where I have been on record saying I don't think Hayward Highsmith is a basketball player. Now, I said that a few years ago, and I did formally apologize on this channel since because I think he had an awesome season last year. The thing I used to always say about Hayward Highsmith is I've never heard the phrase great offense or great defense, better offense more than when he's guarding someone. Because, yeah, he was always, playing decent defense on Jason Tatum and whoever the hell else he was guarding, but they still always scored. And that's because he's 6'4" with, like a 7-foot wingspan. So he's got length. Pause. But they were still scoring because he's too small to play power forward. And that's been this Heat's problem for the last 3-4 years now because they keep trying to start 6'5" guys at power forward. That's why I've been working on a video about the pairing of Khalil Ware and Bam Adebayo and kind of how that starting lineup would look and whether I think it's possible. And I do, just based off the things we've been hearing from people that matter. You've heard Adam Simon reference it. You've heard Pat Riley reference it. So these are guys whose obviously opinion matters. It all comes down to Spoelstra, of course, whether we'll see that pairing. And I don't think we'll see it at first, but I think there's some potential that we get some glimpses of it this season. And I would just love to see that because they could finally put Bam at the 4 and not get killed on the glass every time. But yeah, back to Highsmith, though. I'd love to keep Highsmith. Truthfully, I would pay him no more than $7-8 million. And we have no idea what his market is, though. Like Caleb Martin, we knew he was going to go for a lot more than we can pay him. Probably $15 million plus. Highsmith, will he go for 10 plus? I don't know. If he goes for 7-8, though, I'm cool with that range, though. What else we got? When I see you stand by Sexy Red, I believe you see too bad. What? Oh, is that why they said I'm uncomfortable by black women because of Sexy Red? No. Not at all. It's just that TikTok. You know what? Let me try to find that TikTok, man. Let me go over to my screen share here. Hey, as we are one sub away from the goal. Greatly appreciate y'all if y'all tuned in here. Make sure to hit that button. Help me chase the dream. The growth has been great. But what I want to do is I want to go over to Twitter here, and y'all can see my screen. Perfect. And now let me search this. I'm just going to look up a Sexy Red Miami Heat. And let me see if I can find this video. Because, hey, this one. Hold on. Y'all can see it. Perfect. Hold up.
Do you love the Miami Heat? Ski. What is your favorite thing about Miami? Do you have a favorite player on the Miami Heat?
Get it sexy.
What is your favorite Miami Heat jersey of all time?
The Sexy Red jersey.
Do you love...
So it's not that bad, chat. Hey, we just jumped up 4 subs. Let's go. Greatly appreciate y'all. That's dope. But it's not like the video is not super awkward or nothing, but it's kind of cringe, right? I don't know. The daughter was super cute, though. But shout out to Sexy Red for showing some support of the Heat game and enjoying her time there. Not going to hate on her for that at all. Freddie says, Sixers got better. New York got better. Boston is still elite. Heat need to do something drastically to improve. Man, it's obviously your comment is 100% accurate. I really want to know what guys like Pat Riley are thinking when they see this. And this is what Barry Jackson always tweets. And Barry Jackson is a mouthpiece for the front office. He has sources, so what he's saying obviously is true. And he's starting to lean back into the whole, they like their team, they accept reality. The Heat are not about giving up assets for marginal improvements. They're not looking to take 1 step back, to take 2 steps forward, which is stupid logic. Obviously, you should be willing to do that. But that's what Barry Jackson's starting to put out. But how can Pat Riley possibly have that mindset when he's seeing the Knicks get Mikal Bridges, the Sixers getting Paul George? You cannot stay idle. Even a lateral move is better than nothing because you're shaking it up. And what you've been doing the last couple years has been a play-in team. So I don't think a lateral move by any means is bad. And there is many options for a lateral move. Maybe even, let's look at the Chicago Bulls, man. Okay, obviously, I was not high on Zach LaVine, and I'm sure most people watching this do not want Zach LaVine on the Miami Heat because he gets paid a lot of money and is injury prone. And the reason a lot of us want to trade Tyler Hero is because he gets paid a lot of money and is injury prone. So why would we trade Tyler Hero for a guy? LeBron just reached out to Klay Thompson. That's the notification I got. Klay Thompson, you are a Laker. But why would we trade Tyler Hero for a guy who gets paid more money and is more injury prone? Well, let me tell you. The report came out, and again, I'm not in on Zach LaVine. I'm just stating why it might be good. The report came out today that the Bulls are willing to attach a first-round pick to offload Zach LaVine. So, obviously, as of right now, the Heat only have 1 tradable first-round pick. I think it might be 2 because I think 2031 opened up. But either way, whether it's 1 or 2, they still have much less assets to trade than almost every other contender, right? So you're now getting an asset with Zach LaVine. And 2, although Zach LaVine makes more money per year, he only has 2 years left on his contract, where Tyler Hero has 3. So now you're telling me you can get Zach LaVine, who, when healthy, is a better player than Tyler Hero. You're shedding a year of salary, and you're getting a first-round pick. Well, now that doesn't sound so bad. Now, I do want to say Zach LaVine actually has 2 years plus a player option. So it's possible he also has 3 years. But best case scenario, he stays, healthy, he works out, and then he declines that player option and either resigns for more or goes elsewhere, and you clear up that cap space either way. So I am kind of starting to talk myself into Zach LaVine. If not him, the Bulls have another negative asset that I think might help. Nikola Vucevic. I know Bulls fans kind of hate him because he thinks he's a stretch five, and his shooting numbers have been pretty bad since he shot 40% like 3 years ago. But what he can do is he can still rebound the basketball, and that's something that the Miami Heat need. And there's always the potential he can get back to that floor spacing big. And obviously that's something that would be incredible on this Heat team because he's a guy that maybe could start now next to Bam Adebayo. He doesn't have the defense, but if he can get back to the shooting, well, now you got a rebounding stretch five who can still score inside. You pair that along with Bam Adebayo, and I think that's a nice matchup there. Now you have Khalil Ware to come off the bench and dominate defensively, be athletic, and do all those other things he gets to do. And Nikola Vucevic, because he has 2 years, $20 million left on his contract, nobody wants him. So maybe the Bulls even attach a first-round pick with him. So I would look at the Chicago Bulls as something to help us get a little bit better here because it looks like that team is ready to sell. John says, what do you think will be the rotation next season? What do I think the roster are going to be? That's really what that question is, right? I mean, as things stand now, I hate to say it to you, but it'd be Terry, Tyler, Jimmy, Jovic, and Bam. And what's your reaction, Heat fans? If first game of next season, you're on Twitter and you see the graphic that says starting five brought to you by whoever the hell is the sponsor, and it's that starting five, what are you going to do? It's not going to be a pretty day on Heat Nation, but I can't answer this question because I don't know. I don't know who they're going to get. Let me know. Let me see y'all comments down below. I'll be answering all your questions, and we'll kind of talk about everything that happens today. Dritz, this is kind of something we've been hearing a lot too, is we hear, I need to keep, I'm behind on the comments, so I need to keep track of these comments on the side, the live comments, because last time we did a live stream, if y'all remember, Donovan Mitchell trade news broke during this, not Donovan, Mikal Bridges trade news broke live during the stream, and I was too busy talking about Zach Edey to notice right away. But anyways, it's starting to sound like Pat Riley believes that if the Heat can just get healthy, they have a chance. And obviously, as a Heat fan, that is the most annoying thing you can hear because we've been saying that for years now. And typically, when you're already old and you're getting older, you don't get more healthy with age, obviously. What else we got here? Shout out to Louis, my boy. Said hit that like button. Appreciate you. What's up, Pedro? I see you in the comments. Shout out Hialeah John. I see you. Albert Doyle, what you missed, man? What you think you missed, Albert? You've been a Heat fan for quite some time, I'm sure. And being that it's the offseason and Pat Riley and cheap-ass Mickey Harrison's our owner, what do you think you missed? Absolutely nothing. If you're talking regarding the stream, we just been kind of, I don't know, I want this to kind of be like a rant session or like a vent session for Heat fans that might be annoyed. And I'm kind of half joking when I call Mickey Harrison cheap and Pat Riley old because it is day one of free agency. There's still a lot of stuff that can be out there. I'm not going to freak out over the Heat's the only Heat move today being re-signing Kevin Love. I'm not going to freak out about that just yet. John says he thinks we should sign Buddy Hield. I wonder what his market is. He was certainly coming off a lot of money. Actually, I'm not too sure what his contract situation is right now. I'm gonna pull that up right here. I'm gonna screen share in just a second. Let me type in Buddy Hield contract, and we will share this tab instead and come back over here. Because I don't. So is he a free agent then? I forget what his situation was. So it looks like last year was the last year of his deal, and he was getting paid, basically $20 million a season. That's why he was a guy that was pretty difficult to trade for initially, when I know there was a lot of rumors of the Pacers trying to get rid of him forever. And I think he only got traded for like 3 second-round picks to the Sixers. And I was kind of mad when that happened because I said, well, I know the Heat don't have a lot of second-round picks, but I'm like, damn, they didn't have something better than 3 second-round picks because we could have used Buddy Hield scoring off the bench. And obviously now more so than ever because we don't know if Duncan Robinson's back injury is lingering or what the deal is there. So I do like Buddy Hield as a player, certainly, but I've heard that he is very, very bad at defense, and I think you got enough scorers that are pretty bad at defense. So I think I'm cool on Buddy Hield, especially since I don't think he'll get $20 million a year, like the contract he's coming off of, but he might get something close because he wasn't great with Philly, but he did show some promise there. Nicholas Pallone says, could the Heat get Lauri Markkanen? I sure hope so. But I will say I certainly don't think that Lauri Markkanen is available. It does sound like the Jazz kind of want to build around him. We can pull that up in the trade machine here. Just see if there's a realistic trade we could kind of pull up together. I've seen some better trades, or not better, but some more realistic trades with the Jazz that maybe they could get, because I don't think the Jazz are super high on John Collins. I've seen maybe the Heat could get John Collins and Colin Sexton. That is something I'd be very interested in. But, I mean, if you want to look at Lauri Markkanen, looks like he gets paid $18 million a year, and obviously you'd have to be sending over Tyler Hero, who gets paid $29 million. Does this, well, because Lowry's on the last year of his contract, so obviously you're trading for Lauri Markkanen, knowing you're going to have to pay him big money next season, and I do believe that this trade straight up works because the Cavs have, or the Jazz have cap space, but now you're talking about what do you need to add to incentivize them. Well, as of right this second, see, it still shows the Heat's 2024 pick, so I don't know how updated this is. But I don't think it showed 2031 before. That's what I was saying. That's why I believe this Heat still have 2 tradable first-round picks, because they can trade. They have, what's this? They got 26, 28, 30. So I believe they can trade 29 and 31. I think so. So that means that they can now send, we'll send 2029, we'll send 2031. I mean, and what else are you talking? You're talking one of the kids. So are you talking this pick from this year? That'd be Khalil Ware. Are you talking Jaime Jaquez or Nikola Jovic? I know Heat fans would probably rather keep those guys over the new kid, Khalil Ware. Some don't, though. Some want to keep Khalil just because he's 7 foot. So now maybe you're looking at something like this. It's essentially Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, 2 first-round picks. Is that enough for Lauri Markkanen? Maybe, but I mean, I've heard the Jazz, they want to haul for Walker Kessler if they were ever going to trade him. So if they want to haul for Walker Kessler, imagine what they're going to want for Lauri Markkanen. So I don't know. But the thing that I think may be more realistic, let's say you remove Lauri Markkanen here and you put in John Collins. Obviously that would work. And let's say then you let's even remove the Khalil Ware pick. And do they still get, is John Collins worth 2 first-round picks? I don't think so, right? But does Tyler Hero and a pick get it done? I also don't think that's true. But it depends, because I don't know if the Jazz look at John Collins as a negative asset. Because if you look at his contract right here, 2 more years left at $26.5 million. That's a lot of money for a guy who wasn't particularly great next season. So maybe they don't value him super high. And if they can offload him for a nice young piece and a first-round pick, well, then that's not so bad. But I also don't think Tyler Hero's fit with the Jazz is great because they got Keontae George. I think they just drafted a guard too. I forget who they took in the draft. I know who they took. They took Kyle Filipowski. And I forget who else they took too. I remember they took Filipowski because there was all those reports about him being Mormon and all that stuff there. And it's like, oh, figures the kid who's Mormon went to Utah. But anyways, I don't know. Let me know. Do y'all like John Collins? Do y'all like Colin Sexton? I would certainly be interested in both of those guys. Colin Sexton is a dog. Absolutely love that guy. What else do we got here? Buddy Hield, Derek Jones, Miles Bridges are still available, so I wonder if the Heat can jump in on those players by trading Tyler and Duncan. We talked about Buddy Hield, Derek. Oh, so now you're talking about a trade for Derek Jones Jr. It would be nice. He's but would you rather Derek Jones over Dorian Finney-Smith? I don't know, man. Because Derek Jones, he still wasn't a great 3-point shooter last year, although he was improved. And I do think the value for a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith is much less. I will say, though, I mean, I don't know if y'all seen my video I posted on Kashad Johnson. I keep calling him PJ Tucker with Derek Jones Jr. athleticism. That boy is good. He has me excited. I'm telling y'all, I'm buying all the Kashad Johnson. I keep calling him Kashad George. The Kashad Johnson stock. So maybe if you got a guy like him, you don't need Derek Jones as much. And Miles Bridges, he is honestly a piece of shit who should be in jail. And I don't want Miles Bridges anywhere near my team. I don't want him anywhere outside of a prison, truthfully. He should be locked up for the rest of his life. He's a terrible human being, and I hate every single thing about Miles Bridges, and that will never change. What else we got there? Do you think Miami trades Duncan and Tyler, one mostly as a salary dump to build draft picks? I know it seemed like the Nets would have salary to just sort of, or has salary cap space to accept Tyler Hero and send over picks. I don't know how much they value Tyler Hero. They got Cam Johnson. Is that fit kind of awkward? Probably. But I mean, if all the Nets have to do is send us a pick or two and they get Tyler Hero, who still is a decent scorer in this league, maybe they do something like that. If I'm a Heat fan, I would love it. But if your question is, do I think Miami does it? No. Because something we've been hearing a lot, and I do think it's very true, is that the Heat are too prideful to do something like that. And if they refuse to trade Tyler Hero for Damian Lillard, it seems like, then why the hell would they trade Tyler Hero for picks? I don't think, for some reason, Pat Riley just seems to be infatuated with Tyler Hero, and I can't seem to figure out why, and I just don't think he has that relentlessness in him to trade him. I don't. We talked about the Florida Panthers and Bill Zito traded Jonathan Huberdeau for, Matthew Tkachuk. They won a championship. He was relentless. Everyone loved Huberdeau, but he did what had to be done. Meanwhile, you got Pat Riley. He doesn't seem like that same killer he used to be because he seems to not want to trade Tyler Hero. Let me see what else I got in these comments here. Anything interesting? Bleacher Reports just reported that Braun and Clay have spoken since the start of free agency. Yeah, not surprised. Klay Thompson, we've heard rumors LeBron might take a pay cut, Clay might take a pay cut. That kind of seems like it makes sense there. What else do we got here? Because you're getting Ayo DeSumo and maybe another player. If the Bulls are willing to trade Ayo DeSumo, I would like it. He's still a young player, very good defensively, and I think if you put him in his Heat system, he's a guy that could have a lot of promise. This one, Pierre, is something that, of course, we've heard a lot. Jimmy Butler for Jonathan Kuminga trade. While I think Kuminga is very promising, and I would like him in this Heat system, the problem is to make the money work, the Warriors are going to have to send over Andrew Wiggins, and Andrew Wiggins has an albatross of a contract. Just a monster contract. We can search it up here. We'll just search Wiggins contract because he gets paid a lot of money for a lot of years, and it's just not something I want to deal with at all. Why is my screen sharing not? Oh, you can see it. Okay. Andrew Wiggins contract, 3 more years essentially, because when you look at his contract, that player option in 3 years from now, he's definitely going to take something like that. I feel pretty confident saying, although he'll only be 31. So it's possible he could turn his career around in Miami and obviously opt out and re-sign for more if he plays well, or just opt out and go elsewhere. But the way his career is going, his kind of career trajectory, I guess, he's likely accepting that. So now you're telling me you got Andrew Wiggins locked into, 17, 18% of the salary cap for 3 seasons. That very, strictly limits what he could do in free agency going forward. I don't want to do any move that has to do with Andrew Wiggins coming to the Heat. I can't do it. That contract is just way too awful. Again, at least with a guy like Zach LaVine, he can opt out in 2 years. So you would be shedding a whole year of salary by trading Tyler Hero for him. What else do we got here? What is the perfect player from Miami that would make you happy? You want to hear my Trey Young rant again? Let me know what y'all think down about Trey Young below. He seems to be one of the more polarizing free agents out there. But here's the thing. I'll start with the concerns. Obviously, everyone's concerned about the defense, right? Yes, he's not a great defender. He's, 6'1", 164. It's basically Rob Dillingham's height, which was kind of what gave me some concerns about Rob Dillingham when there's rumors about the Heat taking him. But anyways, the defense sucks. But I would like to believe that if he came to Miami, he would be a better defender because, one, everyone is. We could say culture. We could joke about culture, but it's true. Everyone comes here just because the organization makes them buy into defense, and you'd be surprised. When a guy buys into defense, you would seriously be surprised how much that actually matters. Because Trey Young's been with a terrible Atlanta Hawks organization where they just look to him to score all the time, and maybe it's an effort thing. I know it's size too, but look at Muggsy Bogues. He was a great defender. So there's no reason a guy like Trey Young can't at least hold his own or be pesky, hounding guys on defense, getting around screens, and that sort of thing. So you give him Eric Spoelstra, who has elite defensive schemes. And even if Trey Young doesn't improve defensively, well, you do have the pieces that could sort of help hide him on defense. You have Jimmy and Bam, two of the best defenders in the league. You will have guys like DeLon Wright, Josh Richardson, and I know you might be losing Caleb Martin, maybe Hayward Highsmith, but you might be keeping Highsmith. So if you do keep him, he's obviously a great defender. And the Heat are always just really good at finding great defenders. They run a lot of zone. That's a great way to hide poor defense. And there's just a lot of ways that they could hide him. And on top of that, even if everything else I said is irrelevant, that he doesn't get better on defense, they can't hide him on defense, you would be trading Tyler Hero for him. Tyler Hero is a terrible defender. So it's not like you're sending out a great defender for a bad one. If anything, they're the same on defense. But Trey Young is 10 times the player Tyler Hero is on the offensive end. So for that reason alone, I think you get way, way better. He's a guy that could score 50 points on any given night, that allows Jimmy to not have to go balls to the walls every night. So he could still play, could serve his body more, focus on defense, because now you got Trey Young to carry the load. Trey Young is a guy that could get to his spots. So if you're late in the fourth quarter, you now have another creator that can attack, because the Heat were one of the worst offensive teams in the fourth quarter last year. They were bottom 3 with like Portland and actually the Phoenix Suns, surprisingly. But still, bottom 3 in fourth quarter defense. Trey Young is a guy that is clutch as well. He's a big time player. Don't get that twisted. I became a fan of Trey Young, what was it, a few years ago now, 4 years ago now, when he was in that conference, or that first round series, I guess first, versus the Knicks. And not only was he the villain, but he played into the role and he thrived in it. He was hitting threes and then bowing to the crowd. And then in the conference finals versus the Bucks, he was shimmying before drilling threes. He was throwing lobs off the backboards to John Collins. That tells me that he's not scared. And a guy who's in his first playoffs on the conference final stage showing that kind of confidence, that's a big time player. And like I said, he can get into his spots in the fourth quarter. He's very good at getting to that mid-range spot with a beautiful floater touch. He's just elite scoring. And that's not even his best asset. His best asset is facilitating. He is one of the best that there is in the entire association at passing the ball. And now you got lob threats like Bam and Khalil Ware. Imagine what the offense is going to be. The Heat just gave Bam Adebayo like a $60 million a year extension for 3 years. You're locked into him as the cornerstone. Get a guy like Trey Young who fully unlocks his potential. I get why people don't want Trey Young, but listen to what I'm saying. Like I think it makes sense. I think it makes too much sense to not go, to get him. I'm not saying give up everything for him, but I would give up almost everything. I'd give up Tyler, Hamake, Ware, and all the picks. Well, I know I just said I like the pick and lob with Ware and Trey, but still, you get my point. I'd give up almost everything. This is my motto all offseason, though. You said at this point, we can't run it back. You'll just take Levine. My mindset, anything is better than running it back. So I would much rather I'd rather get anything than run it back. That's my mindset as well. Let me see what else we got here. I don't think I want this to be too long of a stream. So I might, I'm going to get through these comments. I might bow out soon just because I still got to work on tomorrow's video. So, yeah. Okay, Mamadou says, have I heard about Miles Bridges? I talked about Miles Bridges. Have I heard of Kevin Porter Jr.? I know Kevin Porter Jr. signed with the Clippers today. I'm not super familiar as much on his issues. I know Kevin Porter had a lot of bad stuff as well, and I think that's even why he was out of the league. He's obviously very talented and very young, so I do hope that he turns his head around. But I do not know enough to fully speak on that. Let me see what else we got here. Is that Ron Baker in my comments, bro? Y'all know what y'all know about Wichita State / New York Knicks legend Ron Baker? This is an interesting comment from Alejandro. Says, do you think if Damian did come to the Heat, we wouldn't do anything this offseason other than signing Highsmith and Love? That all depends on how the season would have played out. Because if you win a championship, maybe you re-sign those guys. Maybe even going to the second apron to keep Kevin Love. Who knows? But if you don't win a championship, Now maybe you talk about blowing it up even more and getting rid of all the other pieces. That's why that's very, very hard to say. But it's like, yeah, I don't even want to make an assumption on what they would have did, because if you would have got Dame, does that mean that Jimmy still gets hurt? Or are they not even in the play-in game, which means that Jimmy would have never got hurt? Because if you're telling me everything played out the same and you got Dame, well, then I'm glad they didn't get Dame, because I don't think Dame and Bam would have won a championship anyways. Obviously, you need Jimmy Butler. But I don't think that would have been the case, right? Because you'd think they would have been better than the A seed, right? So it's kind of hard to say there. Trey doesn't seem like a Heat guy. Him and Terry defensively would be a bad backcourt, certainly. But you don't have to start Terry Rozier. You don't even have to keep him on the team, truthfully. You could trade him to another team and get your first-round pick back, I'm sure, because I still think he has first-round pick value. But, yeah, you could start. I mean, if you're able to re-sign Hayward, why not put Hayward at the 2? They always say Hayward is like 6'4", 6'5", but they just put him at the power forward because of his wingspan, because he plays bigger than he is. Okay, well, why not put the guy who plays bigger than he is at the 2? Because he is 6'4", and a 40% three-point shooter, mind you. So now you got a starting lineup of Trey, Hayward, Jimmy, Jovic, Bam. That's tough, because now 45 starters are big. Obviously, Highsmith is big for a shooting guard, and you do have a very nice combo in the backcourt of, scorer, defense. Even if you lose Hayward, Highsmith, put DeLon Wright at the 2. DeLon Wright showed us that he's capable enough of shooting the ball. Now you got a DeLon Wright and Trey Young 1-2 punch in the backcourt. I don't think that's that bad either. There's a lot of options there, and that's why I absolutely love Trey Young. I haven't talked about Westbrook yet on this channel. As Cash Out Sherm says, he says, trade Rozier, Hero, get Trey Young, Bruce Brown, and Westbrook. While I love Bruce Brown, I think he just re-upped with the Raptors, so I don't think he's going anywhere. Westbrook also accepted his player option, but it did say the Clippers are looking to move him. He only gets paid $4 million. I'd love to trade for him. I don't know what exactly that would look like. I'm trying to think of the Heat's contracts. The smaller contracts are either their rookies or Kevin Love, so you're certainly not making a move there. And I don't think the Heat can accept Westbrook without sending out equal value, so that part would be kind of tough. It is cool, though. Westbrook and Kevin Love did go to college together at UCLA, so you're certainly not trading them for each other. What's Rodney talking about here? He said, Heat Nation demands Spo to go ASAP. We need a coaching change? Boy, what? Big time my twisted Caron Butler, Air Glass, Malik Allen. They know how to treat young players they can also communicate with. Rodney, are you being dead ass, my guy? Because I guarantee you are the only person in Heat Nation that is saying this. If y'all agree with Rodney, let me know down below and tell me I'm tripping. But I'm pretty sure I am not. And by the way, Simplice, excellent points. Just excellent points. I'm telling you, man, you know what Heat guys are? Heat guys mean you're a dog. And Trey Young is a dog. I don't care if he's... No, I do care that he's back on defense. Don't get it twisted. But he's still a dog, man. He's a big-time player, man. What's the trade scenario for Tyler? Likely not for a star, because he's dodged every star allegation there is. But I would like to trade him for 2 or 3 more better complementary pieces. If you missed it earlier, I said Dorian Finney-Smith and Dennis Schroeder, for example. Yo, what's up, Trey? Shout out to you, my boy. Our window past late? Maybe. Shit, probably, to be honest. Hey, Jose, he said we need Kyle Guy. You're damn straight. You tell me we need some shooting? Bring Kyle Guy to the team. It's funny because obviously Kyle Guy had a very short stint here, like during the post-COVID year, first post-COVID year. And he was good, but it kind of sucked because we also had Mario Chalmers on the roster, and Mario couldn't get no PT because Kyle Guy was playing so well. That team also had Nick Stauskas, now that I'm remembering. So they could have put in Rio instead of Nick Stauskas. He folded for that. Maybe Rodney was right. We should let Spo go just because he didn't play Mario Chalmers in that 2021. Hey, Martell. Shout out to my guy Martell of Miami Heat Zone podcast. The boy been grinding out the content. He said, I'll do my best Brian Windhorst impression. But what does that mean? As Donovan Mitchell hasn't re-signed yet, and I'll tell you this before I get out of here very shortly. There was the report today that Donovan Mitchell is expected to re-sign with the Cavs by later today. And I quote tweeted that so fast, and I said, Donovan Mitchell has never been more gone. Let me tell you why. Because there is no negotiation here. The Cavaliers put a max contract extension down in front of Donovan Mitchell and said, please, Donovan, please sign this contract. And that was a week ago. And it hasn't happened yet. You know what other team did that? The Miami Heat put an extension down in front of Bam. Said, Bam, sign this. And we got our Bam extension a few days ago because he wanted to stay here. But Donovan Mitchell, what the hell are we waiting around for? All these reports have said is that Donovan Mitchell is gonna sign. Well, what the hell is taking so long? Now, I'm not saying he's coming to the Heat, but every hour, every second that goes by that Donovan Mitchell doesn't sign is a sign that he is not going to sign. How about that? How's that for food for thought? Hey, Master of Rage. I see your comment here in all caps. Mickey Arison and Pat Riley's making me mad. I was gonna tell you to calm down, but that would defeat the purpose of Master of Rage. So I'm not gonna tell you to do that. Keep doing your thing, man. Let me see what else we got here. Let me get to some of y'all comments here. Do you think Kyle Kuzma for Duncan Robinson would be a good trade? Are you talking like straight up? You know what? I haven't looked into that yet. Let me go ahead and go to my my screen share here, and we'll go back to share this tab, and we'll bring back up Fanspo. Okay, y'all can see that. I want to see what a Kyle Kuzma trade would look like. I don't know if the Wizards are willing to sell because they literally just signed Valanciunas today too, another guy that I really like. But let's see. Let's say the word to sell. Let's see what a Kyle Kuzma trade would look like here. Kyle Kuzma getting paid $23 million. Duncan Robinson's at about 19, I think. Yes, he is. So straight up, this obviously doesn't work because the Heat can't accept more money. So it looks like we would have to shed another $2 million here. I mean, who gets us the $2 million? You're not attaching one of the rookies, right? Are you? That's Jay Rich, right? That's what it's got to be. It's got to be Jay Rich, unless the Wizards think that Highsmith has some potential and you do a sign and trade type of thing there. But, oh, Jay Rich, I hate to do it to you, buddy. I hate to do it, but I think that's going to get us there. Oh, man, you know what? If I said Pat Riley needs to be relentless, then so am I. Jay Rich, get your ass to Washington. Go enjoy the Capitol. Go take a picture in front of the White House or something. Kyle Kuzma, you are a Miami Heat. But is this a good trade for the Heat? And again, I mean, the Heat might have to attach a pick here or something. We'll see, because I don't know. What do the Wizards value Duncan Robinson at? Because if you're asking me who had a better season last season, okay, yeah, Kyle Kuzma probably did. But Duncan Robinson was so good last year, guys. The kind of improvement that he had, to not only be a three-point shooter, but to be off the drive as well as he is, even the improvement facilitating, he's a guy that him and Bam always had a great connection, but it was usually like Bam to Duncan. But now it was both ways. You had Duncan throwing lobs to Bam, Duncan going backdoor. There was points where this offense could not run without Duncan Robinson in it. But he does have some injury concerns, and I do think Kyle Kuzma is a guy that could definitely start at that 4 right now. I know I said I like Nikola Jovic there, but Kyle Kuzma, obviously NBA champion, does have that experience. He probably is more suited to start right now, and he's a very good rebounder too. Probably even a little bit better than Nikola Jovic. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think the difference is between the trade value of Kuzma and Duncan Robinson? Because truthfully, I don't know who has higher trade value at this point. Nathan, I see you, my boy. Shout out to you. Hope you have an amazing day as well. Why haven't the Heat been linked to DeMar DeRozan? The ruler's back says. What else we got? I have talked about this in a previous video, and I like DeMar DeRozan in a Miami Heat jersey, and I get a lot of pushback because, the spacing. Let me tell you this. The spacing concern is so overrated. Now, spacing in general is not overrated when it comes to basketball. I'm very well aware how important spacing is, but I think it's really overstated with a guy like DeMar DeRozan, because people act like just because DeMar isn't an elite three-point shooter that they don't guard him out there. That's not the case. DeMar DeRozan is still getting defenses to contest him at the three-point line, go out there when he's standing on the perimeter, and you still have the spacing there, which allows your guys like Jimmy and Bam to attack the basket. So I think the spacing is super overrated. And when you're talking about a guy that can score, and you're talking about a Heat team that needs offense, I think it's a very, very nice fit there. We talked earlier about how poor the Heat's fourth quarter defense is. Well, DeMar DeRozan is one of the best fourth quarter players in the league. Didn't he just win Clutch Player of the Year last year or the year before? You talking about a guy that can get to his spot every single time in the fourth quarter and knock down a clutch jumper. The fit it's too perfect. It really is. Now, I know DeMar has a lot of faults when it comes to the playoffs, and he's not a big playoff time performer, but Jimmy Butler is. So maybe you let DeMar dominate the regular season, you let Jimmy dominate the playoffs, and now that DeMar's not the number one option in the playoffs anymore, maybe he has less pressure, he performs better as well. I just think it makes a lot of sense, and I really wish it was something the Heat would look into, especially since the Bulls would have some incentive because it would need to be a sign and trade. The Heat can't, sign DeMar DeRozan outright. So now you're talking about giving the Bulls more assets so they don't lose DeMar DeRozan for nothing. You can maybe send over Tyler Hero, maybe send Duncan Robinson, Terry Rozier. Now, I don't think the Bulls would want that because they just got Josh Giddey. They still got Kobe White. I think they're pretty much good on guards. So that part makes this difficult. But I do think the Bulls would rather get something for DeMar instead of losing him for nothing. What else do we got here? Denali says, I didn't stream the hockey game. I think I only streamed one of them. I streamed like game 5. Truthfully, I wanted to celebrate, actually be tuned in to the hockey game, especially that game 7, which was lit. And also my girl was not working that night. And I usually only stream when she does work nights. Because I have the whole room to myself here and I don't have to bother her at all. What else do we got here? All right, I think that's pretty much a good time to wrap it up here. We've been talking for 45 minutes. We didn't talk too much about the moves that happened today because I guess not much happened. Paul George to the 76ers probably is going to be confirmed relatively soon. But I do want to get a video out on his chances coming to the Heat because maybe it's possible. How many times in free agency does a guy go to the least expected team or a team you never heard about? Usually it's the guy. Usually when you hear so much about a report happening, it doesn't happen. So I do want to talk about if he could potentially come here because I think the Clippers also have some incentive to find a sign and trade so they don't lose Paul George for nothing and that he could send over some assets. So that's kind of what I'm going to work on tonight too. That's why I don't want to stream all night like I did last time. But I do want to talk about the Spurs move real quick. Chris Paul to the Spurs. Oh my God. That team, bro, they can score 100 points a night off of pick and lobs. That's going to be insane. Not to mention the Spurs got Stephon Castle in the draft, so now they get a year of Chris Paul training him. That's a win-win because I think the team will be good. I don't know if they can compete for a championship, but I think they can be good. And Chris Paul now gets to be on a good team. And they paid him 1 year, $11 million, so he got a bigger bag than he could get anywhere else. And he has the free agency to sign there again next year or somewhere else to try to ring chase. I guess it depends how his body feels at the age of 39 once the season is over. But just for Wembanyama, my God, I don't have to explain what that's going to do to his game. I don't know. Am I exaggerating by saying he could average 30 points a game next season? Seriously, with a guy who is as elite as a passer as Chris Paul still is at this age, don't get it twisted. I don't care that he's a grandpa. That boy has high basketball IQ, and he could pass the hell out of that ball. Look for Wembanyama to be 30-plus points next season. That'll just be crazy. But anyways, that's all I'm going to say for this stream. I appreciate all that tuned in. I appreciate all the subs, man. If y'all in here right now, make sure to hit that sub button. I'm on the goal to hit 5K subs by the start of next season. I see we got 224 beautiful people in here. So if y'all could just take a second to like the stream and hit that subscribe button, it's absolutely free. And it just goes, worlds, helping me out a lot. Really can't explain that, how much it helps me. And I do greatly appreciate all the support. There's been a ton of growth in the last couple of days with the draft, and it's been really cool, man. I got dreams to do this full time one day, so it means a lot. I know I'm rambling here, but that's just because that's how much it means to me. So I do greatly appreciate it. But anyways, I do plan on having a Paul George video tomorrow. I'll be staying up all night here trying to work on that, get some research, get that done. So yeah, make sure y'all subscribe so you can see that, and I'll see y'all another time.